Okay, my new scores video. This one we're starting a little early. This is going to be the biggest week of scores of my entire life. It's completely and totally out of control. So I just filmed a big video called Managing Expectations. I did this tune-up and bar upright. Really, I just did a bar, flat bar and upright bar to show how insane amount of work that is, even though it seems like it should be really simple. And sort of talking about, what you're getting yourself into and what to expect the outcome to be, because you can't control for all the other variables like totally worn out chain, cassette, derailleur. The video, and my friend Anthony came over in the middle of it, and he basically brought a frame and a wheel set and some cranks over. We went through my junk parts, and we found a bottom bracket the right length, and we found a seat post the right size, and I had a riser bar and stem, and we built him up a fixed gear, how his old Fuji used to ride 14 years ago. He used to come to my shop. We built up a bike for the Trans Am, like transcontinental bike ride. And so that video was cool, and I put a little bit of the stuff with Anthony at the very end. I didn't film most of it. And he ended up having a present for me, which I'm very excited about, that he got for free from somebody who got for free from somebody who donated to a local bag maker to check out, see if it was savable, and it wasn't. Then he sort of copied the bag and ended up with this extra bag. Vintage Ruthworks. I think it's like an X-Pack material bag that is so severely sun-faded. It's like desert camo or something now, but it is a cool old Ruthworks from SF bag. I've met the dude from Ruthworks. He's come up here for the handmade show a few times, and he knows some of my friends, and I got to hang out with him. I ordered a few bags from him for Northern Cycles to try and sell at the shop. They didn't really sell, people want custom bags. I want to order them custom themselves, or mostly people just got the Berthaud handlebar bags, like what I have on my Rando bike. But this is cool. It is very crusty. It is very faded. It's got a few holes. I think this will be a fun city bike bag for the Rusty Crusty 1960 Allegro 650B city bike conversion thing that I'm going to make for myself, because I just love crappy old French bikes. Just love them. They're just junk. Still need to find a crank I like better for it. Still need to do a bunch of braze-on mods on it, so that's going to happen. But this is a super cool kickdown for me, kicking down Anthony a bunch of parts and labor and help doing a really fun fixie build. So I got that. And then this morning, was Tony Pereira Breadwinner Cycles downsizing sale. He only started posting about this a couple days ago, so I was all excited. I've known Tony and Ira since 2010. Tony came in to teach a couple classes at United Bicycle Institute, the frame building classes, back when I was there. So I took Ahern, one of my favorite frame builders. I took his first real class that he taught, and then Tony came in for a few days towards the end because he was going to teach the next one for the first time. So I got to meet both of them. They're super cool. I got to do shop tours, and we went over to Ira Ryan's house. He had like a frame builder garage sale. That was the first one of those I ever went to. And Ira sold me a bunch of practice lugs and some random little scrap bits for me to start practicing on, and it was super cool. And then years later, Tony and Ira started Breadwinner Cycles, making, that modern kind of bike for those modern kind of techie bro dudes who like those modern-y, gravelly, through-axle-y kind of bikes that are not my scene at all. They did it for years and years and years, and Ira left a year ago to start working out of his home, and at one point Tony had 6 or 7 employees. They bought Sugar Wheelworks out of there. They had a cafe in there, but, cycling's way down. Money's tight for everybody. Tony's downsizing a whole bunch. He's going to be down to just himself. Like, his head welder retired. He had, but he was one of the original builders for Fat Chance back in the day, and he did his own bikes forever. There's a really good deal on one for sale right now on Craigslist. It's insanely cheap. And he, with Ahern, started Page Street Cycles, and they're doing off-road touring bikes, and then he was doing a bunch of TIG welding for the Breadwinners. So just cool nerdy stuff, but he's way downsizing to just himself and moving back into his home garage, which he says much smaller. He had to sell his old house and buy a smaller house and a smaller garage. So he says it's going to be real tight, so he's really downsizing. He had a bunch of frame jigs and big tools and equipment, and some of the cool local frame builders who were kind of up and coming, like Hot Salad I've seen her at a bunch of frame shows and all these weird swap meets and frame builder sales, and she's super cool. I think she's got like a businessy partner dude who comes with her a lot of that stuff, and I saw Ira, I saw Tony. I was the first one there. I was early because I just can't help myself. I wanted that rock star parking. I got right, and they only have 3 parking spots. I got right in there with my green truck and backed in, and it's the best parking spot. Their sign was in the background. I was going to get a great photo for this video and forgot because I'm bad about doing stuff in the moment. So I got to see those guys. Ira showed up on his just like cyclocross bike with like a bob trailer and took the biggest load of stuff I've ever seen. It was amazing. That was fun. I got to see a lot of the regulars, all the bike farm volunteers, a lot of the regular sort and crowd, but not a lot of people. A lot of people I expected to be there weren't. But it was still fun. I went and I got some scores, so I bought everything in this box. This is one cardboard box full of stuff. $315 into this. I was really hoping to be like $180 in. Went to the ATM and put in $180, which they said was their max, and they'll give me $140. So like, I can deal. I got there, it was so much. I'm like, dude, please take PayPal. And he did. But you want to see what I got? I got some good stuff. So, on Facebook's where I saw it, he posted this, and he posted these pictures on Facebook where he had it for sale. And I could see in some of these pictures the prices. Some of the prices were insanely low. Insanely low. So I had to go. Like 5 people came just for this. Braze-on jigs, but I was the first one there, so I got them, bro. So this is, I don't remember the name of the guy who made these. Maybe it's Spudnik Tools. So this is machined to fit across your top tube, and this is these guys slide in and out. This is the slidey one, right? Wait, where's all the slides? This is missing parts. God, probably. Or maybe this side's the slide that's taped together. But, So the bottom is the C channel to clamp on the top tube. The clamps clamp on the bottom, and this holds a split stop for split cable stops, and this holds them in plane. So you can put them on your bike anywhere you want on the tube, and your braze-ons are lined up with each other. Super cool. I think this is like $150 new, $30, and it's in great shape. He had several more of the individual single ones. I think these are sold as like sets of 3. I only bought 2. I left 2 or 3 there for other people because I have a few of these already. So I got like a regular one. It's got 2 little teeth. This is for split stops, and leave a little room for the flame to get in. This one does not have anything like that, but it's a much longer one. So you can get a little more room on some weird spots to braze around. $10 each. I was buying those. I saw this. I was like, oh, this is like a Crown Race setter, I think. $10. Vintage Campagnolo, bro. I mean, guys on eBay pay like insane money for old campy tools. So, I bought it. Probably just to resell. I got this. This is some old tool from something else, but he said he was using it to put on down tube shifter cable stops. You can screw these guys into the cable stop and just rest this on top of the tube. I've made some of these from scratch at old rack tubing before, and they were fine, but $2, and it was cool, and it's Tony Pereira stuff. I mean, I bought some nerdy stuff from him. This was sitting there without a price. I think he ended up charging me $5 or something. A little Hosan Crown Race removal tool. And I really always just put the fork against my chest and take a punch and a hammer. But I want a Crown Race removal tool that's real, that I like. And I have like 5 or 6 and don't like any of them. So I thought I'd give this one a shot. It says Hosan right on it. See if I love it. This is exciting. I got 3 or 4 adjustable reamers a little while ago. They're all a little smaller and weird. I'm not really sure what's up. But this one, I think he said, was set for $27.2. And he charged me $10 for it. It's probably dirty. It's probably dull. But it looks like a pretty nice 1 3/16 to 11/32, or to 1 11/32. It's adjustable reamer. I think I can set it for $27.2. Hopefully it looks big, but I don't know. $10. These things are like $300 or $400 new. So that's exciting. I'm willing to give it a try. Vintage Sun Tour cone and bottom bracket adjusting wrench for $1. And he said the guy who taught him how to work on bikes, it was from his collection, has his name on it, so he just had this hanging on the wall for years and years and years. I can't believe he let it go. That made me like it even more, so I had to buy it. Check this out. I'm sitting on a different spot. Look at this cutie thing. So this is some bicycle rack tubing with some little feet he made on it. So it's a little shelf, but it's slotted for sticking your files in. So your handles sit here, your files hang here, so you can mount on the side of your bench and have all your files in a good spot, which is cool. I used to do weird stuff with my file. I think I used to have like long, thick magnets with all my files stuck to them. And it kind of worked, and they fell over, and they were annoying, and you get the metal shavings all over it. And this is like a way more pro move and adorable. It's homemade. I think he charged me $10 for it. I mean, Jesus. This is as much brazing and tubing as some racks that would go for $300 or $400, like handmade. So it was really cute, and I just had to have it. A nice digital caliper that has a battery and actually works and is a real name brand for $10. I'll have his Harbor Freight calipers for like $20. They never work, and the batteries die, and they're terrible, and they're inaccurate. So that was pretty exciting. Last second he pulled this out. He's like, "This is the best frame saver. It's not the name brand stuff. It's an unopened full can. $5, dude." And I was like, who doesn't need frame saver? This is one of the things I actually need. So this is the big adjustable square like protractor thing. So you need this if you're going to do any frame building. If you're going to design bikes on a drawing. Ooh, this one's way nicer than my old one. The old one's all clear and kind of hard to read. But you can set this dude to your angles, so like 73 degrees. So I can put this on my center line from my rear axle to my front axle and have this right at 73 degrees, so I can find my bottom bracket shell and draw my straight line from the center of my bottom bracket shell all the way up my seat tube. And I can come to the same thing. I can come set this on that same axle line again, which is like the basis of all frame drawings. You draw a straight line from your front axle to your rear axle, then you find your bottom bracket, then you do your bottom bracket drop, and you mark that center, and then you take like a little, what do you call those? Those little tools that are adjustable, have a pen on one side and a pointer on the other side, and make your little circle so you know your bottom bracket is, and you can come up, from that and do your head tube angle and measure off your seat tube. Like I'm gonna have a 52 top tube, so I do your seat tube at 73 degrees, and you can measure your 52 centimeters center to center off that, then move this up with a long straight edge on it to draw your head tube down to your axle center line. And these tools are very cool. This is $5. I think the cheap version of these I paid 15 or 20 for at the art supply store, and this one is so much easier to read and so much nicer. I bet it was way more dough. So I was excited for this, even though I'm not promising I'm ever going to build a frame again. This is just going to go under my bed with most of these tools, and we'll see what happens. The very last thing, after I bought all this stuff and took it out, I came back in. This had been sitting on the table. It is definitely a goofy homemade dimpling tool. So it's like a round piece of metal brazed to a flat piece of metal, drilled and put on. This is like a sheet metal clamp for clamping a couple pieces of sheet metal together, and then being able to get in here with your welder for your tack welding. And I'm like, there's no way this thing's strong enough to actually dimple a tube. It's like, no. You gotta like get it where you want it and clamp it on, and then put a C-clamp on the back of this and squeeze down. I'm like, so it doesn't really work. They charged me $10, and I want to play with it. I have one of these I made out of a C-clamp that I showed on my Instagram back in the day, and people came in from all over, so everyone wanted more tire clamps on their bike. So I have one of these I made that actually does work kind of good, but I don't know, I just couldn't help myself. I had a bunch of parts and things too. Over this parts table, we had these dimension grips for $5 each. It's about wholesale. They're the same as the Velo Orange grips. They're like shapely and have a little end, and I really like them. And I want a couple more grips. I'll use them on something. He had a make offer table too. I got a bunch of stuff there. Some of it for a good deal, some for way too much. Here's a pair of what I'm pretty sure are titanium Blackburn water bottle cages. I just got one of these, but I think it was a little skinnier tube one. Like I think these are hollow. The one I had was like a solid tube, so it was a lot skinnier. I got that for free at the Sunday Salvage sales last week at their free box, and I just got 25 or $30 for it on eBay. So this pair I'm going to put up for like 40 for the pair. Maybe I'll put up 45. and I bet I'll get them within a week. $5 each. This is cute. I mean, I don't do any threadless bikes really, but this is a handmade king cage top cap. So it's for threadless stems, it replaces your top cap. And it is a water bottle holder. $5. I could not get it. King Cage is so cool. He's come to some of the handmade shows and he makes like elaborate, ridiculous fixtures and benders and these crazy tools so he can make cages so fast. He doesn't bend them by hand. He puts in this tool and does this process and flips around and the other lever does that. And like, he's so cool if you follow on Instagram, like when he posts that stuff. And when he shows it to shows, he'll bring a thing so you can bend your own cage. It brings a really simple jig so you can do this bend and this bend and this bend and this bend and pull it out and put it, then I'll put it in this one and do that bend, and you can basically bend up your entire cage. It doesn't have the little tang, the little back plate welded on or anything, but it's cool. So I got those for $5. He had a basically brand new Surly stainless steel ring. He charged me $15 for it, which is really all I get for them on eBay, so I mean, I have no idea what they cost new, $40 or $50. So whatever. 130 by 39 too. That's the size I use a lot. Probably sell it on eBay. Maybe I'll use them on something. A couple of rack stays. I think he charged me $1 for. I like having rack stays. These aluminum silver ones with the flat ends. They're nice because you can put them in any old bender. You can even use like Harbor Freight benders or benders from auto parts stores for bending like fuel line and stuff. And they'll bend these pretty easy without breaking. So you can really get your rack all lined up just right. A chain he charged me $1 for, even though it says 5 on it, and it says 1-speed new KMC chain, so I'm not sure if it's an 1/8 inch chain. Maybe it looks like it is, or if it's just like a 5-speed chain, but I like bringing chains. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Another new old stock Suntour cone wrench adjustable tool for $1 in the bag. New old stock Suntour. I just think it's cool. I always buy this stuff and I always end up selling it, but I think it's cool. A square. I sold all my squares and I miss it. These are a nice machinist square. They're totally flat and thick and heavy on the bottom. So you can set them on tables and put them up to anything you're working on. You know if it's actually square. This is great for when I was bending rack tubes, trying to make like a rectangular platform. So I'd lie the tube flat on the bench, put this down flat on the bench or on the alignment table, and then do my bend and then set it up against this and be like, oh, look at that. My bend's, I need to pull my bend open a little bit more. So I like that. I need to put it in the bender and add a little bit more bend into it. These are great for that. They're great for if you're cut off the top of a fork crown or something. You can set them up against the steer tube and touch the top and see if it's flat or see if it's like way off like that and hand file a little bit more. So that is so cool. I bought a really beat up, this is crazy, it says Shimano Dior XT, even though it totally looks like, and probably is, a DX. And they had a DX left next to it. I bet you it's not an XT. It's got a weird number, and it's missing a bolt, and who knows. But he basically charged me nothing for it. But it does say XT. This is probably garbage. I probably should have looked at this harder. I don't know. The bolt's all bent, but whatever. One little beater used brake lever. This was cool. I saw. I did not even open this and look at it. I just kind of looked and was like, oh, snap. This looks like a bag of brand new Dior XT and Dior top caps for like 7, 8-speed thummies, and there's like trigger shifters. He's like, oh, do you know what this is? I'm like, nope. I even looked through it. I was like, nope. He's like, how about $5? And I was like, yeah, man. I'll take $5. So brand new in the bag, Dior. Oh, look, there's the little Shimano SIS stickers. Dior XT top cap for the thummies. Maybe some little screws and hardware. This one is also a Dior XT light action top cap. Looks like brand new with the screw for the left side. Here's another one. Dior XT, looks like 7 or 8 speed with several of the little stickers for the top. And honestly, you get these brakes a lot. They're just missing the stickers. This is an open bag that just has the hardware, or just has the packaging in it. But whatever. A couple of things. I like messing around with this old stuff. I get scratched up and missing stickers all the time. I got a missing top cap the other day I was very sad about on the LX set. This is cool. I'm so excited that I found this. $1 Jack Brown 733 1/3 622. So this is a Rivendell tire they made that everyone was super in love with, the Jack Browns, and it's the old style like 80s change purse. So it pulls open, you can throw your quarters in there and throw it in your pocket so you don't lose your change whenever you sit down. So it's Rivendell, it's old, it's cool. He charged me $1. Maybe it'll sit around my collection for years and years and years. Maybe we'll put it on eBay. Rivendell stuff's, people love Rivendell. Rivendell stuff's worth dough. I think I even have a set of those tires in 650D right now. An old shorty Specialized stem. It's real scruffy, but whatever. It's short. It's 26.0. It's real cute. I got a narrow Specialized bar. I got a 40 centimeter right now. I just put on eBay. Maybe I'll put this up too. Maybe someone will buy them both. I mean, I often get, you know, $35 for Specialized stems. They're made by Nitto, but they say Specialized, and they're cute and cool, and they're kind of tall. Minimum line's down here, so it's a little taller. It's nice and stubby. This is the only thing I thought I overpaid for, but I probably didn't. Get a bunch of brand new shift cables, and I didn't grab all of them. I grabbed a bunch. He's like, oh, I want at least $5 a piece for those. There's 3 in this roll, and blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I paid like 30 or 40 bucks for these cables, but they're 445 millimeters, so that is like long, man. I think like 330 is like the regular tandem one, so these must be tandems with disc brakes or something. Like super. Oh, this one's a shorty. This one's a 230, and it's like a normal kind of long. I think 200 is like the standard shift, and 230 they made a little extra long for longer mountain bikes, and then there's like a 3 something for tandems, and these ones are all 445. I don't know. I mean, if you go to the store, a regular shift cable is $5, and usually these longer ones are 10 or 15. So it's still a good deal. Some of the stuff I threw him for a loop, like this, he's like, it's like a used fender mud flap for PW. He's like, I don't even know. I don't know what to charge you for this. $1. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I got PW fenders on my bike that are this size and missing the mud flap, so maybe I'll use that. I think he charged me $10 for this. He's like, oh, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fine. It's a never been used before All City track cog. It's 1/8 inch, 18 tooth, black. I don't know if these are go for new, but I'm sure it's way more than 15. It's probably at least 30 or 25. I'll use it on something, or I'll put it on eBay probably. And then we get into, oh wait, there's one derailleur. It said $6 on it. I think he charged me $10 for a handful of some of this lesser stuff. But it's a 8-speed Dior XT, which is the popular Dior XT, and it's in pretty good shape. It's mildly dirty, but it's all complete. It's 34.9 top hole, so I will not use it, but I will put it on eBay for $35, and I will get it. I've sold like 3 of these recently. So that is great. I got these, apparently, I was talking to Bob Bantam, his other frame builder that I saw there that I like, and I saw him a couple weeks ago. He sold me a headset press. These are $2 each. And I was like, they look kind of like the Paragon Machine Works ones, but they're not. He's like, oh, I think this is the first generation of the Paragon Machine Works ones. The later ones are real thick and weird. That's what I used on the stem on my rando bike. 26.0, they're stem clamps. You braze the rest of the stem on here. So this is just the like the bar clamp bit. And they're kind of cool because they're not just a piece of flat tube. They're like machined and round and domed, so they look like an aluminum stem. It's got this cool cut in the front, which is probably supposed to be a vent hole going into the tube, but I think that's dope looking. If I braze this onto something, I'm going to leave that out front. Some little French stems have like a nice cool slot like that. And he had 3 of them for $2 each, and I bought them. This one's a lot prettier. And these other 2, one of them doesn't even have the vent hole. This one does. So this one has like more of a root beer barrel shape, and this one has a root beer barrel shape, but it has the slot. This one has no slot, and this one's a lot more of a smooth lozengey shape with the slot. $2 each. I thought Bob was going to get them, but then he changed his mind. I bought a 1-inch Pacente fork crown. It's my favorite fork crown. I've used dozens and dozens and dozens. I mean, literally, I think I bought over 100 of these and used most of them. We put them on all the Klickitats and most of our Northern Customs. They're not the lightest, but they have that dual plane French, big hollow thing, and they're scrolly on the ends, and they came in both 1 inch and 1.1 inch, and they also came with a version with a water bottle boss on the top for doing portour racks and stuff. But also I've drilled a million of these and brazed in my own water bottle bosses. They are super cool, and I don't remember. I think these are like 35 brand new, so 15 for a brand new one. It's just been sitting around. They stopped making them for a while. Then Tony from Frame Builder Supply, he bought the rights from Pacente, so he was having them made again, but he was out every once in a while. But he's got them in stock now and has them pretty regularly, which is cool. But I bought a lot of these. I bought just a few dropouts. I have no idea. I don't remember grabbing these. I don't know how they ended up in my box. $5 Shimano EF old 80s road dropouts. I really don't believe I grabbed these. I have no idea where they came from. And the same for these. They ended up in here and I don't know how. I think somebody threw them in there. $10. They're like modern-y, Lone Shen, like kind of like the ones that are in all cities and stuff. I have no idea. I found this just on the floor of the shop. I'm sure it fell out of a fork, but I love these for shipping bikes. I'm always out. They're just like a little plastic dummy axle that comes when you buy a brand new fork. Just to keep in case the box gets crushed, it keeps you from bending the fork blades in. And then, two more of the coolest things. So Tony handmade this, and I was asking him about it. It's a piece of square tubing with some slides. So he's machined this top hole out to exactly the same oval as the most common fork blade size. And this guy's flat machine to hold the fork blade in place up through here. And it's adjustable, and down here's adjustable, so you can set your... He's got some really light scroll marks on here. It's kind of hard to see in the video, I'm sure. But like measuring, so you can braze your dropouts in, set them into here, set your fork rake, 45, 40 for track, 45 for road, 55 for touring, 65 for rando, whatever. And then you can set this dude up to whatever height you want for it to go into the crown. What did I just do that crown? So the crown would sit on top of the fork blade, and the fork blades come really long, so I'm like, oh, I need exactly, 360 millimeters or whatever. So I set this there, and then you can come in here with your hacksaw and cut it perfectly flush, so both your blades will be exactly the same. This is one of the things I did by hand all the time when I built bikes, and it was a huge pain in the butt. And I would never get them the same. They'd always be cut a little goofy, and I have to file and file and file and adjust and adjust. And all my bikes were custom, because I would often lose a millimeter or two while doing that. So like, I want this to be 365. It'd be 364, 363 and a half. My top tube's that way. I want a 55 top tube, but it was actually a 54.9. Like, you get close. But this is a cool piece of handmade Conti F-blade lengths. Maybe that was one of his things. 367 millimeters. Frame builders are always going to write in yourself notes on the stuff you use all the time for all the common things you're doing. But this is a super dope homemade Tony Pereira tool. This is like a piece of history and totally cool. He mostly uses carbon forks and stuff now. Making stuff one-off. He's not going to be doing batches anymore. But this is dope. Maybe someday I'll build some forks and use this. $20. I couldn't pass it up. That was really like $300. I'm like, I don't really need it or whatever, but for $20. And this is probably the deal of the day. I barely even touched it. So this is like the exclusive. Open it up here and now. This is a cool old vintage metal parts bin thing. I love these. I have a bunch of them. It is insanely full of frame building supplies. He had a bag with like hundreds of cable stops for $20, and Bob Banham saw. He's like, "Oh, that's such a good deal," and bought it. And I saw this, and I was like, "Yeah, totally. That's the good deal." This thing is so full. So I opened like two drawers, and I looked, and I'm like, "Oh my god, there's so much stuff." First drawer, 2 water bottle boss bolts. Not exciting. Second drawer, a bunch of canties. Here's an old Paragon Machine Works, like 3-piece canty. Candies come in all different offsets from all different brands. So you got the spring holders in them. This is the offset down here. It tells you how far off the fork blade it puts it. So you want different offsets. So your different width crowns and stuff. You can put your brakes in the spot you want them. Oh, there's another Paragon, a bunch of these. So I used to stock all the offsets from all the brands because you never know what you want when you're doing a custom fork. So I'd figure out whichever one was the best one for the Klickitats and to stock a bunch of those and write on that bin like the Klickitat ones or the this, the that. Here's a bunch of the cheapy old mountain bike ones that are like really big and blow molded and offset. Good for really wide crowns. Oh, there's one old French one in here. Old Mayfac. I do want to use the Mayfac ones because I'm an idiot for the Allegro. Maybe all 4 of them will be in here. Here's some more wide ones for like the mountain bike style. Here's a single Candy Boss. He's clearly machined and didn't like the way it came out of the angle. Oh, baby, baby. So I was just saying, get this big old giant bag of Brazons, split stops. They're not the ones I like. Here's a whole drawer of the ones I like. These are like 50 cents a piece. I think you can only get them from Seaway in England. Check these guys out. They're like, oh, bullet shaped. And they have a little, so hard to show, they have a little base on the bottom. So they stand up like a millimeter, and this little base is like machined to sort of fit around the tube, but it's also got a little lip down the middle, so it's not perfectly touching the tube, which gives it like perfect amounts for brass or silver to flow through. And there must be 20 or 30 of them in here, plus some other ones, plus some little teeny tiny like 4mm ones. Look like they're for old Schwinn's or something. That's funny. That's a really cool score. That is my favorite split stop. Here's a bunch more weird machine spacers because he was making his own something. Some were machined, look like they're maybe go on a seat binder. Oh yeah, they're threaded M5. Maybe they're for stems or something. They're very little home machined or machined at the shop. Little threaded tubes. They're much smaller than standard like stem ones or seat post binder ones. Here's some like cyclocrossy stuff. So these ones are like half round. See, this one on the end is full for hole housing, and these two in the middle are split for like cable stops. So this is very cyclocrossy, very mountain bikey. Here's another mountain bikey style one that looks like it's 3 split stops with two half rounds on the top. It might just be for looks, just straight up 3 split stops. Oh, and there's a whole bunch of ooh, I need this. There's a whole bunch of the old school cable stops for like doing the solid run of cable across the top of your top tube. This is the exact one that I broke on my Terry. So that might come in real handy. There's a bunch of double ones and single ones, the old 80s ones. Oh yeah, here's an old 80s like campy pump head. This is real common on campy chainstays and stuff. They use little step down ferrules. I used to use them for fun stuff. I used to use them on forks for like dynamo wiring guides and stuff. Like, so I love cool, weird old Brazons. So that is so cool. Oh my god, these are the biggest things I've ever seen. So these are like rack Brazons, but they're massive. They're like 3 times the size. They're huge. They're not tapered. I wonder if this is for like mountain bikes to braze on for like seat binders, and you put like the quick release through instead of like a bolt. That I'd buy. Oh, here's an even more hourglass shaped one. But yeah, these are like, might even get an entire seat binder through here. It's all machined bigger on one side. Very weird and cool. If you're gonna do old style bikes. Oh, these are cool. I hated these. I never really used them. So they're like hourglass shaped. These are for going on the front of your bike, like on your head lug, and you put your barrel adjusters in here. For it was like a thing with STIs. So instead of doing like down tube shift bosses and then putting little shift adapters in there with the barrel adjusters, you just braze these around your head tube. I used them once or twice. Wasn't a big fan. Here's some wing nutty stuff. Here's a bunch of these are braze-on front derailleurs. This brazes onto your seat tube, for your braze-on front derailleur to mount to. I never use this because I want to be able to run whatever size rings I want to run and do whatever I want to do. So I never mess with that. Oh, here's one seat stay plug. So in your seat stays that come up, from your dropout, you cut the top flush and stick these in, and this would braze into that tube and then braze onto your seat lug. Instead of you having to file that tube to a weird shape or make your own little cap for it and stuff. Braze on seat stay plug. They're not heavy, but they're a lot heavier than just braze on a little flat piece of metal. And ooh, these are race number plates for old race bikes. So you braze this guy onto the bottom of your top tube. It's got a little threaded bung, so you can put your race number and bolt it onto your bike. So the race announcer, knows who you are and how cool you are. You saw on some old high-end 80s bikes and stuff, but I'm sure they could be used for other stuff. And they're threaded M5. Who knows what you could figure out to use this for and have it be totally cool and fun. But God, there's 10 or 15 of these. Oh, now we're into some stuff. Some more top tube split cable guides. Here is a whole bunch of what looks to be homemade. Maybe Tony made these. Chain holders. You braze these on the inside of your chainstay. And then when you take your wheel out, you can stick your chain up on these guys. A lot of old guys would just use nails. Just cut the nail off and just braze. Just, like a centimeter of the nail plus the head on there. But these are all machined. Here's some looks like lowrider braze on. So instead of being a water bottle boss, it goes all the way through the fork. So the whole way through. This plugs all the way through, so you can braze it on both sides to make it extra strong and just run along bolt. Some more old campy style diver's bell helmet cable stops. Pretty cool. 10 or 12 of these. And a lot of this stuff, $1 or $3 or $4 a piece. So very cool. Oh, some brake bolts, roll pins. This is a little pulley thing for if you want to switch your derailleur from top pole to bottom pole or whatever. Good for mixties. There's a whole bunch of rear dropout adjuster screws for old vintage 80s style bikes. There must be 12 or 14 in here. Plus springs, plus ends. Bunch of weird caps. Oh, little Campagnolo thread caps or dust caps for something. Got a little campy logo right on them. Ooh. So yeah, bin of that stuff. An actual nail. Some more little spacers. Random braze on. I know we haven't got the big bends yet. Oh, here's some cyclocross wing nut stuff. So these guys were kind of into that. It is an offset cable stop. So it sticks off one side, like for a canty. It's come off one side of your seat stay instead of a whole seat stay bridge with a barrel adjuster in the middle. It comes off to one side with a barrel adjuster. And you mess with the spring tension on your brakes to make it work with a one-side thing. I don't know. Ira was really into that. Cyclocross guys are into that for a minute. It's not my thing, but I could use it for something. Bunch more homemade machined little bits. I don't know what they are, what they'd be good for. A weird tool, a couple of water bottle boss stars. Nothing too exciting. Oh, here's some normal. These are the normal large hourglass rack mounts. So this is a real rack mount. It's machined, this half round shape, to go on a seat stay or a fork blade. You braze on, and the inside of this is threaded for your rack mounts and things. I love these. These things are like $2 a piece. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So just one little drawer of these one little rack mounts is basically the price of all of this. Here's a more normal. So these are a way more normal seat post binder bolt. So it's a machine to go around the seat tube, and this side's machine for a bolt head to sit all the way in flush, and that side is just threaded. You braze this onto your, pretend like this is your seat tube. You braze this guy on, and then you slot your seat tubes. You slot all the way down through this, and then your bolt pinches it and holds your seat post from slipping. Pretty cool. I use these once in a while, but mostly use seat lugs that had them built in or whatever, but once in a while. Oh, here's some more wing nutty stuff. Some rear brake bridge stiffeners. Some more of those wing nutty offset cable stops. Here's a rear, not a brake bridge, but it'd go on your chain stays like if you did canny bosses. So it'd stick out off of your seat stays and be threaded on the top of your barrel adjusters and come down to your cannies. I use a couple of these a few times. You buy everything from like old Seaway in England and you play with it to see if it's something you're going to like, you're going to use, and then you decide it's not, and then you just sit on it for a decade. Here's a big drawer with a bunch of stuff. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. So this is a giant bag of rings. I think they're brass. I can't tell in this light. They could be silver. But they're thin little rings. And these you plug into some dropouts and some seat stay caps and whatnot. So like these hooded dropouts, you'd get the rings the right size. And you plug these inside your tube and then plug your tube in here. And then you heat, and the rings melt from the inside out and swell up and fill up that line, so you know the tube's actually brazed. So I was just like put a drill bit in the vise and just bent my own rings to whatever size I need, but these are for something specific. And there's like, if this was silver, these are silver, this is like $50 worth of silver in these rings. Another bag of big, giant, fat, weird braid. Oh, some good water bottle bosses in here. A bunch of real fat, like oversized, like old mountain bike split stops. Ooh. Ooh. Some random stuff, a random dropout, one braze-on. So check this out. These look like Paragon Machine Works, but maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something Tony had made. They might even be stainless steel, but they're like thick steel machined dropouts. Paragon made something like this, and some other guys were making them themselves for their own bikes in production, but here's 2 sets of these dropouts from Paragon. These are like $50 a piece. I think they're not Paragon, they're nicer. They definitely look stainless. There's a bunch of cut-off eyelets, cut off old dropouts. Some weird random, just junk. But dang, I gotta ask Tony what these things are. Here's a bunch of little plastic O-rings. I have no idea what they're for. But dang, 2 nice fancy sets of dropouts. Another little drawer. Oh, with one disc brake braze on. So it's braze onto your tube, and it's got a little hole underneath for your zip tie and a little half round on the top for your cable. Other big drawer. Headset spacer, black, 1-inch steer tube, 5mm height. There's 2 of them in the bag, 2 of them out of the bag. So one 1/8 spacer, a really skinny 1/8, and 4 black 1-inch spacers. That's cool. I like 1-inch spacers. Oh snap! Here is a bin with a bunch of the down tube shift boss to STI adapters. There's just parts of them. There's just a lot of parts. One cool, weird little like arrow standoff down tube shifter. Oh, there's 2 of these. These are cool. There's a tap in here. Some more of these little campy dust caps. Some random brake spacers. There's a set of campy ones in the bag. They're all missing the barrel adjusters and stuff. Alright, last 2 drawers. I'm excited. They're big. They're cool. One bag with a part that I have no idea what it is. Part of a dropout that was clearly replaced. Cut off and then you heat it up. I like to cut them in half so I can heat up the brass. This was inside the tube, one side at a time, so I can pull it out without trying to damage the tube. So you cut them in half. Here's the other half. You pull it out of the chainstay. One chrome fork tip cut off. Several U-brake studs that have been removed or filed on. One seat post binder bolt. A lot of cut-off derailleur hangers. These are cut-off ears from lugs in the seat binder area. Just some weird scrap. All-right. That drawer is anticlimactic. This one looks kind of cool. So here's some fancy modern-y derailleur hanger things with bolts and drills and taps. Here's a couple of them out of the bag. They're like nice and stainless. Oh, they say stuff. Everest? Everest. I don't know if you got an Everest. I got like 6 of these now. Oh, snap. He had some campy front dropouts, that eyelets. He was asking like 20 bucks for. Here's an entire bin of campy dropouts. This one's an Elise rear non-drive. This is also an Elise rear non-drive. An Elise non-drive. So probably this year Elise, the drive side broke like crazy, so these are all leftovers for doing repairs. Here is another Elise non-drive. And one Campagnolo long. It's the later 70s one. Just the drive side. Rear dropout. Sometimes you can take these and they kind of the same left and right. Some of them are usually bent a little bit. You can straighten them and take these guys and braze them into a bike. It won't have a derailleur hanger on them. You can add one on from all those cut off ones, or you can just do a single speed bike. And instead of using track dropouts, you can use, like a fixie conversion style with these horizontal dropouts. Is that right? No, vertical dropouts. Yeah, horizontal. These horizontal dropouts, and they have a fender eyelet. You pull the wheel back and tighten it, so it's kind of like doing a single speed conversion. And you can make a single speed bike with these. So, I mean, really, 2 sets of these, or I want to do a single speed bike that way, because track dropouts are a pain in the ass, especially with fenders and whatnot. What's this little bag? Oh, the Everest with the drill and the taps. A whole bunch of cool stuff in a cool old tin Brazon holder case. Even though I showed these 2 things first, there's another score I'm going to get on Wednesday. So it's the last thing I got, but I went and looked at it last Wednesday. Mechanic's been a mechanic since 1986. Wants to clean out his garage. He's not dealing with it anymore. He's only buying stuff at the bike shop. He's only got modern e-bikes from his wife now. He wants to sell me all of his vintage stuff. I went and looked at it for a couple hours. I thought he'd want way too much money for it, and he finally got back to me and gave me a price, and his price was $500. And that's maybe too much for flipping, but it's a lot of cool stuff, and I'll sell some of it, and I'll probably make most of my money back and have a bunch of cool parts. I'm not going to get rich on it, but I'm going to go buy that on Wednesday. Tomorrow is Saturday. It's the swap meet. I'm going to go sell. I'm probably going to buy some more stuff. And there's also Sunday salvage sales and bike farm on Sunday, so I just want to get an early start on this video. Maybe it'll have to be a 2 or 3-parter. We'll see. So if I do this video as just a Breadwinner's score only, which is so long, I might. Thanks for watching.